Hello, welcome to Spurs Kings TV. It is Monday. It's time for VAR Court. It's time for the Monday Pitch. Mitchy, you well?
Yes, very good. Fabulous, as some might say, as a Newcastle fan at the minute, mate.
Sort of.
Fantastic time to be in the Premier League. Say that.
mate, you're just... I don't know if you lot are just making Man United look as bad as us, mate. I was just getting to that point. But you lot don't usually beat United, though.
It's very... Well, up until the last sort of 2 or 3 years, it was very rare that we beat Man United. But they are crap now. And we've beat them, I think it's 6 times on the trot, 5 or 6 times in a row now. So, yeah. The tables have turned, let's say, and hopefully they stay that way for a very long time because I've suffered a lot of pain from them guys.
All right, let's bring on Stocky. Losing to Liverpool in a nice fashion. Well done. Again.
Yeah, we didn't get battered. I can deal with that.
You could sod off as well, mate.
What for not getting battered?
Yeah.
Oh, Marley, I tell you what, you're one of the most cheerful people I knew. What are Tottenham doing to you at the minute?
Do you know what? I tell you what, the game between us in a couple of weeks is going to be manic.
El Crapico.
Yeah, he's worse.
That's what it is, El Crapico. Who can finally fit? Do you know what? I think it would be both of our lucks. It would just be the worst 0-0 in Premier League history. Yeah. That would be fitting.
And
that or 6-0.
Yeah, Ange don't do 0-0s, mate. Just FYI.
What would you rather, win and he stay an extra few months, or lose and him go that day?
Oh, do you know what? I'd always take a win. Mate,
fair enough.
You know what?
He's got no matter what.
I like that. I respect it.
No, definitely take the win. I would have took a win as well.
Look, I'm going to take the Europa League win, considering that I might know that he might stay. So, and I don't want him here anymore. I'm done after yesterday. I'm done. But that's where I'm at. That is where I'm at with him.
Fair enough.
But last but not least, our Championship residential. Think you well?
Yeah, not bad, thanks, gents. How are you all doing?
All good.
Very well, mate. Very well.
All good.
Yeah, good to hear.
I can't even... You lot drew this weekend, didn't you?
Yeah, 1-1, wasn't it?
1-1.
Little 1-1. Get the point.
Your form's all changed up, innit?
Nah, not really. You never know.
Well, you won the game before. You might beat Oxford.
Yeah, well, I mean, I was kind of hoping to win that game. But yeah, didn't count my chickens too soon. So I take the draw and on we go.
So let's. Do you know what? Before we get onto the VAR stuff, the Premier League right now, are we starting to see the final now in the coffin with the bottom 3? Are they just gone?
Yeah, they've been gone just as long as Liverpool won the league, haven't they? Pretty much.
Do you want to hear Matt?
I mean, Leicester had a mini revival. They had a mini honeymoon period when Venice first took the reins, but then after that, it's just been. And they gave themselves a little bit of a lifeline this weekend, but it's just not enough.
In the last 15 games between all 3 of them, there's been 1 win and 1 draw. The rest are losses. It looks like.
Crazy.
Well, between Leicester and Ipswich?
Leicester, Ipswich, and Southampton.
Oh no, sorry. 3 draws, 1 win.
Yeah, Leicester beat Spurs.
In the last. Yeah, it's not good just looking at the form just now on the league.
Ipswich won a couple of weeks ago as well. I swear they did.
Yeah, they won a couple of weeks ago. They drew at the weekend. Leicester drew at the weekend, and Southampton got a draw a couple of weeks ago. Yeah. Apart from that, it's all red on the Premier League form table.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Thank God for that, Barley?
Mate, well, mate, I don't think Arsenal fans realise what they're going to do on the weekend. Avoid the defeat to Ipswich. They confirm Spurs' survival.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, mate. Small wins, innit? Small wins.
They realise because they're in a situation there. And then what makes it worse, if they don't lose, Liverpool can win the title against Tottenham the week after. So it's always a shit show.
Hey, it's a funny old game.
You just gotta love football.
Right.
Just the way this season's thrown up, especially for Spurs fans, it's just that is got to be a killer. First, Arsenal keep you up, and then you're gonna go and confirm Liverpool winning the title. But well, small wins. But let's get into VAR this weekend. Look, like I said last week, there wasn't. Look, you're gonna get some weekends where you get a whole bunch, and then you get some weekends where you're looking at 1 or 2 games, and that's literally what's happened this week. So, Mitchie, I'll let you take the reins, mate.
Over to me, yeah? Right, let's do this. Right, first one. We're rolling into... This is Leicester Brighton, isn't it?
Yes.
Because it's Cody, I keep thinking it's Everton for some reason.
Yeah, it's...
All weekend, someone keeps going to me Cody, and I was thinking it was Everton. Right, so this one... This
Mitch,
one is what?
Are you taking the VAR stuff now because you was a lino at the weekend?
That could potentially be the case.
Is this where we're going now? Is this where we're going? There's a line-up. Jeez.
I put in an excellent performance as assistant referee, actually. Less than a lino talk. It's an assistant referee.
You had a spin around, mate.
Oh.
He had some swift moves with it as well.
Hey, mate, flamboyancy. That's what assistant referees need these days. A little bit of flamboyancy.
First lino I've seen in years that could keep up with play.
Hey, so it's not as hard in vets football. It's a little bit slow.
Wow.
Right, let's get to it. So we've got Brighton, Leicester. Brighton have taken a shot. Connor Cody's arm moves towards the ball, blocks it. Nothing is given on field, surprisingly. And then VAR asks the referee to go and have a look at the screen. He then awards the penalty. I think the main bit of slight controversy here is there's a lot of people saying it potentially should have been a red card as well because it was a shot on goal.
And the fact that he moves his hand towards the ball is deliberate.
It was deliberate and it was a shot on goal. So thinking that Cody potentially could have got sent off here.
Yeah. I think potentially from what everyone is saying that he should have been sent off. But I've looked at it a few times and I'm not sure.
It's a tricky one.
It's a very tricky one because it's Connor Cody, and in my head I'm going, he knows what he's doing, and he purposely moves his hand towards that ball. However, when I looked at it the first time, I said handball. I'm very surprised the ref didn't give it. VAR was right to get involved, but however, I'm in the sense that I'm with it and going, I don't think it's enough to send him off. I think they just should have I believe everything they did in this part was absolutely spot on. But when people questioned it and went, he should have been sent off, I was like, it's Connor Cody. He is that intelligent to do it.
Mm.
And when you look at it at the second glance and someone's put that in your head, you kind of go, yeah, you can see their claim.
Yeah, but that's all weird stuff to take. Not weird stuff. That's all. You can't really take all of that into play. I think the thing that really saves him. Actually, let's hear what Stocky and Sink say before I rant on about why I reckon it wasn't given. Stocks, what are you saying on this one?
It's a nailed on pen. I'm going to use the fans' favourite word of silhouette. I think he's got his arm by his side, but he's clearly leant into it. Whether or not he's thinking he can get his chest there quick enough to block it, I don't know. Maybe that's what he's thinking, but it's definitely a red. Might have been a bit harsh for me because it's not like he.
That's the question. It's whether you think it's deliberate or not.
Yeah, it's tough. Because it's not like his arm's miles out from his body, but he's got it pretty close to him. But the fact that he's dipping into the ball, it's not deliberate. It's not like he's sort of swung at it on the line, but he's doing his best to block it. It's definitely a pen, but I'm not sure if I could give it as a red myself.
Sink? What are you saying?
Looking back at the highlights, I think he's tried dark arts. It's not worked. I think what probably goes for him is like what Stocky mentioned, is that it's almost like he's trying to lead in with his chest and his arms just in the way, so to speak. So it doesn't really come across as a deliberate handball, but more of he can't move quick enough. His arms are by his side, but he's still leaning into the ball. So I think that's what kind of gives him the benefit of the doubt more than anything. I think that's probably what he's gotten with the official, is the benefit of the doubt rather than them thinking that it's a deliberate handball. Personally,
Yeah. From my view of it, I've had a little read up before we started. My view of it was that he was not sent off because of the positioning of the goalkeeper and the other centre back or player behind him. Because as much as it is deliberate, it's not denying it's not denying a clear goal, because one of them is likely to block it on the line. And that was my thoughts as to why they didn't send him off. I had a little read up. We'll plagiarise Dow Johnson again this week, as Chris isn't here. And he's come with a similar thing. He said it wouldn't be a red card for deliberate handball to stop the goal because Mads Hermansen and Luke Thomas were behind him and even may have made a block.
That makes more sense. Yeah, it probably does.
Yeah.
So that's the reasoning of VAR to not recommend the red card, and pretty perfect use of VAR when you think of it from that point of view.
Yeah, no, definitely in that situation. Yeah,
as much as we all love a bit of controversy, but we're not going to get much on this one. The second one, though, I think this is going to split most people. We're still in the same game, and it's the same teams going the same way. Brighton, the ball's come in. I believe it was a Dingle crossed it in towards Matt O'Reilly.
Yeah.
Thomas has had a little pull on him. Riley's gone down quite theatrically, really. Again, the referee hasn't given it on field. VAR has recommended a review, and then the penalty is given. Second penalty to Brighton. They scored from both of them. I think, personally, this one is going to split people a little bit more, because we have the conversation about holding, pulling of shirts, and is it enough, and the length of the holding and stuff like that. So, Sinclair, have you seen this one? And what did you think about the award of the pen here?
I was actually fortunate enough to watch this game live when it was happening, and when it happened, I was thinking, oh, he's got away with one there when it was actually live. So, yeah, I mean, I feel like it should have been a pen. The striker hasn't got to fight with him. That he's almost judo throwed him in the box. I know he's trying to get around him because his momentum, the striker's momentum is carrying in one direction, and the defender's obviously trying to use that against him. But he's got his arm over him in the box. It's just clumsy and silly. And again, it's that fateful question: if you allow it to be asked, and you show the referee arms all over a striker, then if he gives a pen, what can you say? He's going to give a pen.
Okay, Marlon, do you agree with Sink, or are we actually going to be split here?
I think it's soft. It's a soft penalty, and the problem I've got with that is it's a penalty because I can't look. Foul's a foul. It's a soft penalty, but if you're going to give one for this, you're going to end up giving way more for different situations in the box. And yes, he's probably had the question asked, but O'Reilly does take a tumble. He takes the dive. But
he didn't take the dive. He didn't take a dive. He
did.
held his hands up to show the referee that he's being held.
And then he fell down so easily.
To be fair, it's credit to the referee should have given a penalty at the actual time. So
it's
credit to VAR.
Yeah. Well, it's one of them. I didn't like if the referee doesn't give, if the referee says he saw it or something like that. I don't know. I just didn't like it. But it is a penalty. I just thought it was very, very soft.
Striker being smart, using dark arts against the defender. The defender's been sloppy. He's got his arms all over him. If he uses his body and he hasn't got his arms all over him, he can almost get away with it. I think it should
I reckon give it to another 2 referees, and I reckon they don't give it.
Maybe, yeah. In another game, another ref in this game, he probably wouldn't have. He probably would have looked at it again and maybe said no. But if you look,
I reckon different. Yeah, give it to a different VAR ref. I think he doesn't even recommend it. I think he just goes with the on-field decision.
I say credit to him because a lot of the time they're maybe given the perception that they're just going ahead with what the referees are saying. So I think it's good.
I'm just surprised. I'm surprised they didn't. But look, it's one of them because it's not 2 big teams. It's not going to cause much to it. But if it to say this was Manchester United and Liverpool, and it was Liverpool, you know, that was a Liverpool defender. Trust me, it would be a lot worse.
Yeah,
maybe.
100%. So far we've got the defender going with the striker and the striker going with the defender. Stocky.
I'm a goalkeeper now.
You're a goalkeeper now. Yeah, it was just about a pen. I totally agree with Sinclair. Like, if the defender used his body, because he's just got totally in the wrong position, so he's just stuck his arms out to just try and stop him. Do you know what? I think it would have been fine. That grab of the shirt is so blatant.
Yeah,
like that's what really does it. And also, like, the striker's had a terrible touch. He's tried bringing it down, and he's made a mess of that. And then, and when he's done that, he's like, "Oh well, his hands on my shirt. I'm going to turn around and wave my arms in the air." I Sinclair's right in that the defender's all wrong, but Marley's also right in that the striker's like, "Oh, I've messed this up. Plan B, I'm going to get a pen. I'm going to stick my arms out and turn and give it a bit of
I think that's what I didn't
accentuate it. Accentuate it.
Yeah.
That's what I'm looking for. Yeah, but it is still a
penalty.
foul.
The thing is, I'm not sitting there saying it's not a penalty. I'm just very surprised the VAR got involved in this one.
Yeah, so that's what I was.
There's lots more.
This is one.
There's lots more.
This is one of them ones that falls into that annoying bracket of just stick with the referee's call, even though we could all probably agree that it's a foul. There's one of them where some weeks they turn around and go, "It's not enough of a mistake for us to overturn it." And I think this one falls into that bracket for me because it's a clumsy sort of coming together, and he has a little grab at him and he goes down very theatrically. So it's one of them that I feel should just go with referee's call.
There's been a few throughout the season in there that have fallen on this line.
But the thing is, though, the only problem with this is that he then does recommend the referee to go to the screen. The referee goes to the screen and then thinks, okay, maybe I got this wrong. So he in hindsight, he probably has put the right decision, unless the referee's been swayed because he's been sent to the screen.
But I think looking this in slow motion, it's always going to look worse than it did in real time.
Yeah.
So as soon as you see that grabbing the shirt in slow motion, you ain't going to come to any other conclusion.
It made the grabbing of the shirt look worse, but the thing is, because it's not a studs up challenge, I think those ones really apply on those kind of decisions. But the fact that it's a hold and you can clearly see the hold, I think the referee then has to give what he sees. You can't if someone's held and he's impeded the striker, he's got to give it no matter how it looks. Really, he's got a hold of his shirt, like he's pulling his shirt up.
But how long was it for? Because we've had decisions this year where our good friend Chris has said, "Well,
to be fair,
the way the refs look at it."
To be fair, he doesn't even really hold the shirt that long, really. But the fact is just giving it a good tug.
He has given it a good tug.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you think, Lino?
Would you give it?
Yeah, the flag would have been up. No, I think it's a foul, but with some of the ones we've seen this season where they've stuck with referees' call, I fall in this same bracket.
Yeah, that's the annoying thing, I think, is the fact of how many we've seen and they've stuck with the referee's decision, and then you go to this one and go, why have you not done that?
Yeah, we just want the consistency. We want to know sort of when we're looking at things, what decision we're going to get sort of before we actually get there, because they're consistently giving a similar thing. And it feels like this one's, they've switched it up a bit. Where a couple of weeks ago I was saying get rid of referee's call because there was one that was so blatantly wrong, and they went with referee's call, and it's like, come on, let's get to a point where it's kind of logical because it doesn't seem logical at the minute.
No.
Brian
I think
agrees with Sinclair as well.
again, if we go back to last week's with Ramsey in the box, where it was a blatant trip, and you got something like this where it's still obvious, but Ramsey's was way more blatant and obvious than this.
Yeah, 100% agree on that.
It's just not there.
Yeah, and our official line on it would be, while Cody's decision was very straightforward, this could have gone either way and would depend on which VAR you have on the game and how they judge the pull of a shirt. On another day, the VAR may feel the holding wasn't sufficient for Brighton player to go down in the way he did, and play would continue. It's also debatable how much of a hold Thomas had of the shirt. So pretty much what we said.
Yeah.
50-50
in a roundabout way. It could have, depending on who's looking at it and who you've got as the ref and the VAR, it could have gone the other way.
Could have done.
One of those ones.
Well, as long as it don't cost Brighton a European place, I don't think they care, will they?
To be fair, the way the European places are going, anybody who finishes in the top 10 is going to get one.
Yeah.
So it'd be tough. Well, I'd say it'd be tough to miss out, but certain people on the panel may be doing that, so I won't say too much.
I think everyone's missing out, apart from you. Unless West Ham could create a miracle in the next couple of weeks.
Never know. A couple of weeks to get you into the top 10. It's possible.
Hey, West Ham only have to win one game this season. They got their cup final coming up. It's fine.
Boy, it's rolling grenades out there for no reason right now.
Bro, no, I'm gonna sit there and say this now, Stocky. If you don't smash us, yeah, that's it. Don't ever come to me again because you should be beating us, silly.
Yeah, but you're at the bottom.
You ain't seen a lot of West Ham games, have you, mate?
Yeah. It's not like
You
they're
have not
prolific.
seen.
Wait till we go to Anfield, mate. You only got done 2-1. Wait till we go.
But that's just the way you play. That's just what we do, mate.
Yeah.
And all of that. You're going to do something stupid. Even Potter was like, yeah, I'm going 5 at the back.
Right. Next one. Arsenal Brentford. This one here. It's a frustrating one. So Martinelli he's clearly running away from Norgard. Norgard's had a bit of a lunge at him. Well, I say a bit of a lunge, definite lunge at him. He scissored him to the floor. Referee has given a yellow card. The VAR has had a look. I think it was Simon Hooper was the ref. VAR has had a look, and they have deemed it the correct decision, and it stayed a yellow card on field. Borderline one for me, but we'll start with Stocky on this. What are your feelings on this tackle from Norgard here?
What? It's very poor. It's very poor. End of. It's badly mistimed. But there's criteria for him to go. I think. In that he's in behind.
Oh, come on!
What? Chill. Hey, look. I would be happy to see Martinelli get crushed. I really would. But you got to be fair. It's a tackle from behind. He's left the ground, and the left leg's come through as well. To be honest, I did. I watched it a couple of times. I went, you've seen people go for less, but I don't think there's loads of force in it. Like excessive force. It's just poorly timed. But I still think there's enough elements to it where he could have gone. But again, it might be like the other one. Some refs straight away would go, yeah, he's done this, off you go. Whereas I'll go, well, he's not really hitting that hard. Don't worry about it. Still, it's always fun to see Arteta lose his shit on the sideline, so some good did come of it.
Okay, fair enough. We know what Marley's view is going to be because it benefited Brentford over Arsenal, so he's going to agree that it was a correct decision.
No. It's Arsenal. And this whole comes back to the whole point of the Lewis Skelly sending off when it's not sending off. I think with this challenge, I think where I found it's a yellow card is he meant it. He meant to take him down. He wanted to stop his momentum. He's not the last man. Martinelli can sit there and complain, he could have broken my legs, but he didn't. Okay, any challenge could break your legs. He still got up and played on. He was absolutely fine. For me, it's a yellow card. I don't see anything more than that. James Tarkowski, I know everyone's talking about that about a couple of weeks ago. It's not worse than that. That is probably the worst challenge you're going to see. But it's been
Oh,
other
I think
challenges.
Mbappe might have topped that at the weekend, to be fair.
Oh, that was a shocker.
That was a shocker.
That was naughty.
There are shocking challenges. Like, do you remember the one? I think it was Leicester on Cole Palmer. That was absolutely
Dini on Palmer. Yeah.
Even yellow card him. So for me, right decision. Yes, 10, 20 years ago, this is a yellow card. I get in modern day football, it might be slightly different, but I thought, it was not. It was one of them. It wasn't a terrible challenge, even though he meant to bring him down. He wanted to stop his momentum. You've seen a lot worse. So for me, a yellow card is a right decision.
Okay, Sinclair.
Yeah.
You better be agreeing with me. This is Curtis Jones all over again.
God. Oh, God, no.
We do not go a week without mentioning Curtis Jones on this show.
This is completely different. This is.
We have to do a sort of special on the last show of the thing and do Curtis Jones.
Me
Put the
personally,
Titanic music in the background to it, Marley.
no, but for me, this one is probably a yellow. But I mean, if the ref did give the red, you couldn't really complain. He's left 2 feet, he's scissored, and if Martinelli had ended up being stretchered off, would he have been sent off then?
Yeah, probably. Yeah, I agree with you on
So
that.
mere fact that he wasn't injured. So really and truly, the whole point of these kind of decisions that refs have got to make, you wanna put the thought process into other players for future reference. Don't want to do that because it's just going to be a straight red. And then again, that's just kind of how the Premier League has been trying to clean up the culture of those kind of challenges and stopping players from getting injured, especially the creative sparks on the pitch or in the league. You don't want them being out for too long.
Martinelli's not that, though.
No, but he's one of the attacking players, isn't he? He may not be marquee, but he's an attacking player. But yeah, it's not nice. It's not tidy. It's naughty. Probably, to be fair, in terms of what actually happened, what played out, a yellow card is fair. But again, like I said, had the ref decided to give a red, and seeing how everything played out, I don't think you could really complain.
Yeah, do you know what? I agree with thinking that. I think if the ref gives a red card for this, I don't think he even gets it. I think it's the on-field decision would stay correct. And the VAR would not intervene and go, no, it's a yellow. I would not even show him to the monitor, would actually agree with him. However, I think the referee still got it spot on. I think it's a yellow.
In how the situation played out, yeah. Yeah.
I'm in a slightly different boat on this one.
Go on. Where are you with this? Mate, don't stick up for your friends now. Arsenal your friends now.
No, not at all. Not at all whatsoever. I just feel there's like you hear if it's a tackle from behind, if it's off the floor, scissor challenges, all of these things are a lot of the time deemed as red cards. He does 3 in one tackle here, which is what for me says it should have really been a red card. Because normally you take a couple of certain things that are normally given for a red card and it makes it a red. He's done 3 out of probably about 6 things that you could give a red card for a tackle. So I don't get why it's not a red card. Like, I understand where everybody's coming from of why they think it's the correct decision and that, but I genuinely think this is a really dangerous tackle, and he's Martinelli's lucky that Norgard has actually not caught him properly. There's nothing Norgard has done to stop Martinelli getting injured. Here it's just pure luck. Everything he's done. has probably got a higher percentage chance of Martinelli getting injured than not. So he's got very lucky for me there, which is why I believe it should have been a red card. And also, Norgard's very lucky that his studs don't catch him at any point. Because if his studs even clip his leg, he's walking 100%.
Oh
yeah, 100%. He's walking, but but that's why I think it's a smart challenge, as in he knows what he's doing. I think the recklessness comes from where I think you're spot on, is where he's 2-footed off the ground. I think that's where you go, what you're doing there. But he purposely tries to stop him he tries to stop his momentum.
Yeah.
And it's that situation where, when you're going to be left 1-on-1, or, there's a player on the far side, so you're going to get booked kind of scenario. And that's what you can clearly see that's what Norgard's trying. But each to their own, innit? I agree, but I'm glad he didn't send him off. I'm
glad he didn't send it off because, what was this? This must have only been half hour in or something like that. What was it?
Yeah,
28th minute. So I'm glad he didn't send him off in respect for the game as a whole. But I just feel like these type of things should be red cards in football because it is very dangerous. And all it takes is a little bit of body weight to catch Martinelli's ankle while it's planted. His ankle ligaments are done.
Or a straighter leg. If he was planted.
It's just not. You just don't want to see players getting injured from stuff like this, and players thinking this is an acceptable way to try and bring someone down when they're on the break. Because he's that far away, he has to lunge. So for me, it should be a red. Because if they don't give it now and they decide this isn't a red, you'll see it more and more, and players will start getting injured because of it.
Oh no, you can only do it against Arsenal. It's fine. No, I don't mean that. I'm bitter. No, look, I'm bitter this week. I am.
Yeah, we're getting used to it. We're getting used to it, Marlon. Don't worry about it. Ever since the Sol Campbell moment, we've seen this side of you coming out more and more.
Don't call him Sol Campbell on Spurs Kings TV, by the way. He's Judas. Known as Judas. Nothing else.
While I'm on his channel, he will be Judas.
On anybody's channel.
On anybody's channel.
Well, he made mine and stuck his team in the 90s on our channel. And he was in a Tottenham shirt.
I did question him as a player, but he's still Judas.
Fair. I think everyone can agree with that.
That's a very good point. But our friend Dale Johnson on this one says, feels like the kind of challenge where a red card is a better outcome by the referee, but it doesn't reach the threshold for VAR. There has been only one previous example of that with serious foul play this season for a tackle by Brentford's Nathan Collins on Aston Villa's Yuri Tillemans last month.
We spoke about that. I don't remember that.
Neither do I, to be honest.
I don't, when he mentions that as the reference, I'm like, I remember the challenge, but I don't remember us being this 50-50 on it.
I don't even remember the challenge. I genuinely don't remember the challenge.
We'll have to go back to that show and refer back to it, because I have no idea.
Apparently, the panel have said there's only been 2 missed interventions to give a red card for foul play this season. Brighton Estupiñán versus West Ham and Tarkowski against Liverpool the other week.
I think I remember Estupiñán's one. I think I remember it. Yeah, it should have been a red.
Yeah. Well, over to a game that Stocky will know very well. West Ham versus Liverpool. And I believe this is the second time James Ward-Prowse has got away with this season.
Second! I can't believe... Stocky, can we ask a question? Why the hell does he do this for corners? What's he doing?
What?
Do you know what it is? I think it's because he's so short. He's not used to act, and he's normally delivering them.
In the box.
He don't even know where the ball is. All the big boys are in front of him.
To be fair, I've just seen a picture and it is pretty much identical. Again.
Bournemouth.
Oh no, this must have been last season. That looks like Luton.
No. It's definitely this season.
On a decision at Luton.
Was it Luton?
It's definitely Luton.
Yeah, Luton last season. Yeah,
last season. Yeah,
last season.
Absolutely, he's pulling the same face and everything. It's crazy.
He must do this on every corner.
It's weird, yeah.
But yes, I've never seen him head a ball. So
yeah, but why is he not? Why is he even there? Why is he not on a post or something?
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say.
He was actually marking Van Dijk on this actual set piece.
Oh, so they've tried to use him as the blocker, yeah?
Zach Graham Potter
Yeah.
now.
Yeah,
He's standing right in front of his hand on Van Dijk's chest, and then Van Dijk just kind of like does a little shimmy, he gets past him.
just brushes
Gone
him
out.
aside like he's a small
Yeah.
toddler.
He's missed the ball, and then Ward-Prowse has kind of like got his hands up, trying to like. I don't know if he's trying to change direction or if he's trying to put his hand up to push Van Dijk away, but he's not even really looking at the ball. Like, I don't know. I can't even explain what he's doing.
Yeah, it's crazy, really. So the corners come in. Van Dijk and I think that's Luis Diaz have missed it. Ward-Prowse is doing whatever he's doing there, and it's hit his hand. VAR did have a look. They decided there was no penalty.
Quite right.
Yeah, well, as expected, Stuckey believes that's 100% the correct decision. No clear and obvious footage showing it even hit Ward-Prowse's hand, according to Stocks. But what do you
I never said that.
What are you saying, Sink?
This is by the letter of the law. It's a penalty. His hand is in unnatural position.
Yeah.
It's away from his body. The only thing that goes in his favour that he's not actually looking at the ball. I don't even think that's actually part of the rules, whether you're looking at the ball or not. I know he's not looking at it. If this is in Europe, Europa League, Europa Conference, Champions League, that is going to be given as a penalty, 100%. I'll be surprised if that's not given in the European competition. But by the letter of the law, it's a handball, really and truly.
The fact he's done it twice. Now he's just like, come on.
See, that is like the thing that's making me believe it's not a pen, because he did it last season, yeah, and the handball rules were stricter. And they've relaxed them this season, and it's exactly the same situation. So for them to give a pen is like one of the biggest hypocritical things you're going to see coming, because they've changed the rule and relaxed it, but they've given a pen for it this season, but not last season.
Do you think it's down to because of where the ball's dropped? He's probably not seen it to the last minute, so he only has a certain amount of time to react.
Yeah,
but
I think his hands were actually already going up before the ball had passed Van Dijk and Diaz. So that's the thing. Like, is the whole how everything happened. The way how he's moving his arms and his body is in not correlation to the ball, because he's not even looked at the ball. It's coming at him last minute, and then he turns his head away with his arms up in the air. I don't even know how you can legislate for that, to be honest. But by the letter of the law, I'm assuming unnatural silhouette, all of that, is away from his body.
Yeah, I personally think because he's being so soft, it should be a pen. I don't know why does he look so scared of the ball?
This is the problem, and the fact he's done it, like when you look at the Luton one, he does exactly the same thing. I'm like, nah, come on now, just give penalties against him, because he's doing it on purpose now.
Yeah.
And the fact he plays for West Ham helps.
I never would have guessed, Marley. He just don't know what he's doing in trying to defend the corner. Simple as.
Yeah, but then Graham Potter's got to look at this and go, what the hell are you doing in the box anyway?
Yeah, 100%. That's another way to look at it, yeah, because we saw this
bloke on the pitch.
We see this quite often, where you get midgets trying to mark the best header of the other team to try and block them. Like, what is that all about?
Well, it's trying to put their run off in it, so that their stronger headers on their team get a better run up to the ball. I suppose that's the only thing where I could think of the logic of putting someone like Ward-Prowse on Van Dijk, is just to get in his way and delay his run into the ball.
Yeah, but all they seem to do is stand with him before the corner's taken. So it's impossible for them to try and block the run. Like, you can't be that close. You've kind of got to meet at a point if you're going to run. Look like you're going for the ball and just
you can't even obviously block, because the referees will give against you now. So you have to be careful with blocking.
It's a weird tactic that I don't think is going to really catch on and be in the game for long, to be fair. That's how ridiculous
Hopefully
it is.
not.
No.
Right, we've all agreed that it probably should have been a pen, apart from Stocks. But from reading it, VAR deemed Ward-Prowse's action was accidental, which is probably the wrong choice of wording, considering very few handball penalties are really deliberate. Unavoidable given the situation is more suitable, and it probably would have been given in Europe, but not in the Premier League. I think we can all agree it definitely would have been given in Europe.
Yeah, 100%.
Rather than the probably that he said there.
Yep.
Okay, before we get out of West Ham Liverpool, we move on to what was eventually the winner. Ball's coming in, full crooks marking Van Dijk. Ward-Prowse, is that Ward-Prowse again doing a very similar looking
Yep.
action? Just in
Yep.
case Van Dijk misses it, Ward-Prowse is ready to catch it. Not quite sure
So,
why.
I'm sorry. So this now definitely confirms the last one was a penalty.
What is he even doing in this picture?
Do you know what? What we might have to do each week is look at Ward-Prowse's every corner and see what he's doing.
Ward-Prowse watch.
Ward-Prowse defending corners corner. That's what we'll have.
Oh, it's bonkers. But from this, Van Dijk gives Fulkirk a little shove, goes on to win the header, scores, Liverpool win. It's one of them that we're seeing more and more, I think, now, with these little, you got to call them little shoves. They look like clear pushes to me, but they seem to just be deemed as little shoves and teams are getting away with it. But Marlon, what are you saying on this? Should this have been given a foul and been ruled out because
Do you know what?
Fulkirk?
Do you know what? This is typical Van Dijk. All season, how he plays, and he gets away with it a lot. I believe he does push him. Now, I've always come with the solution: if you've got a wife and a baby in your hand, and someone pushes you in the back, are you going to fall over? Right? So
this one gets me every time. I don't know why.
No, but it's true. If you've got a pint and a baby in your hand, and the reason why, it's the English culture, and hopefully you love your baby too. But if you've got both in your hand and someone pushes you, it's got to be enough force to, push you over. In this situation, I probably think if he has those two, if he's stuck in that scenario, I don't think he falls over. But then Van Dijk's a big guy, so I don't know. I'm going to go with probably should have been ruled out. I think West Ham have been hard done by him. I'm gonna go Stocky on this one.
Well, Marlon's going with Stocky. Let's see what Stocky's going to say.
All I'll say is, if a West Ham player,
pint of baby.
Sorry, did you say 2 pints?
Yeah, that's fine.
A pie and a pint. Pie and a pint.
Yeah. Nah, the pie would have gone. It would have been part of the equation. All I'll say is, if it was the other end and Fulkirk done it on Van Dijk, how quickly does the referee whistle for a foul? It's a foul. It is. It's just, and Chris would say, oh, well, that's the bias thing. But these decisions happen at these grounds for these teams. It always has happened and always will. If a West Ham player done it at the other end, it's going to be blown up for a foul. Van Dijk done it towards the cop and they're allowed to do it. Just one of them things, isn't it?
Okay. Fair enough. Sinclair.
Yeah, it's a foul, man. I've always felt if you've got two hands in the back of your opponent, it's a foul. Van Dijk is a big lad. He doesn't take a lot of force. He's gonna exert a lot of force through a push. If the shoe was on the other foot, would Van Dijk be complaining to the ref? 100%. So it's a foul for me. I just feel like the Premier League, with certain rules that they've made, they've given themselves now presidency in terms of certain decisions or certain fouls or certain challenges that are now going against that would normally be given as penalties or fouls. Two hands in the back has always been a foul. You're impeding the opponent. So I don't understand why this change in the rule has changed and why it needed to change, because you're going to get more of these challenges. It's happened a few times throughout the course of the season as well.
Yeah.
But I just don't agree with 2 hands in the back. As a defender in that situation, you don't even know that that's coming. Your eyes are fixed on the ball. You can't brace yourself for when that push is coming in your back, and it impedes you straight away. You can't get up. So yeah, it's a foul.
Yeah, I agree. The 2 hands on the back thing should have always been the thing. It seems they've brought in the pushing motion now to account for pushes, but I've sort of got 2 points on this one. I'd go slightly against Stocky's point that the big teams always get these, because there was one in, can't remember if it was the first or the second leg of the Carabao Cup semi-final. Newcastle Arsenal and Isak clearly pushed. I can't remember who it was in the lead up to the
I
goal.
remember it. Yeah.
At the Emirates, it was a clear push in the back and he went on to score. And I thought they were going to rule it out. It was that clear of a push. And this is similar to that. And I thought the Isak one was a foul. So this is definitely a foul. And my other point on this is when the defender's running towards his own goal and the striker brushes against his back and the defender goes over, it's always given as a free kick. This is more of a foul than 90% of their moments when defenders flop over to the floor as the striker chases them down and brushes against them. So I don't get how they can justify this not being a foul. It doesn't make any sense to me. And this whole pushing motion thing's crazy. So it's to say you can stand there with your hands like that, but as long as your hands don't go forward, it's not a foul. That doesn't make any sense. Because if you move your feet, you're putting force into the person's back. So it's still a push. Like your arms don't have to move for you to push something.
It doesn't. He's got his whole forearm in the back of Fulkrug right there, and as you can see, he's moving forward because he's going to head the ball. He's not moving backwards. He didn't head the ball leaning back. He heads the ball leaning forward. So there's a certain amount of force being exerted through the back of Fulkrug in that situation. It's got to be a foul.
I feel it's a foul. Everybody seems to feel it's a foul. Apart from VAR, the ref, and also Dal Johnson. He says this would be an exceptionally soft VAR intervention and not one we're likely to ever see in the Premier League. The other little paragraph for that says Van Dijk had his arms on Fulkrug's back, but there's no pushing motion to cause the West Ham player to be able to challenge, to stop the West Ham player from being able to challenge for the ball. None of that makes any sense.
What?
To me. None of that makes any sense. And we even looked at one earlier. The one we looked at earlier in the Brighton game is less of a foul than this for me.
Yeah.
Like,
it's all because Van Dijk doesn't extend his arms. That's the only reason why it's not been given.
Which is crazy. That's just a crazy way to look at it because Van Dijk is bigger and probably stronger than Fulkrug. And if Fulkrug's stationary and ready to jump and Van Dijk's in motion and pushes his arms against his back just by running into him, it's a foul. He's impeded him from challenging for the ball.
This is
one rule that I'm never going to understand.
What happens when the lawmakers get involved with certain rules? There was nothing wrong with that rule before.
Yeah, 100%.
I don't ever remember
two forearms in the back, instant foul.
I don't ever remember anybody complaining about getting fouls or not getting fouls because they was pushed in the back.
Yeah,
or that it was that was too soft. I don't remember throughout the course of the Premier League that being a big talking point.
No, neither do I, to be honest. Neither do I. But talking of new rules and rule changes, this weekend we saw the introduction of this semi-automated offsides. When they first came into the Champions League, I really liked these. And I'm surprised it's taken so long to get into the Premier League. But just been introduced. What are your thoughts on the first weekend, guys?
Yeah, it seemed to work. Can't complain.
I think the stadium experience from people that went to the stadium that you've spoken to or you've heard from also said it was a lot quicker and a lot easier than previous, and I think a lot of them are liking it. But this is what happens: you're gonna get to a point where technology will catch up and move on, and that's why I think VAR at the present form nobody likes. However, there'll be a point in about 10 years where even like VAR stuff will happen in seconds instead of like minutes. And that's where we just need to get to. But I think with this semi-automated, I think it was Tierney's goal. Like how quickly they got to that decision and not without doing the lines and whatnot was just, I think everyone was happy to see it. And, you know, it was short-lived because literally I was listening to it on the radio and when they said, oh, it's gone to VAR check, oh, it's been disallowed. That's exactly how long it took for them to go when they realised it was going to VAR. So, mate, I'm more than happy about it.
Yeah, same. And it should have come in a lot quicker for me. They turn them around a lot quicker, and it's actually done on measurements from what I can understand. The only bit that worries me is I read something the other day that there's a 5mm tolerance because of the angle the Premier League camera looks at it. It doesn't look at it in a straight line, so you could be 5 centimeters. You could be 5 centimeters offside, but because of the angle that the camera looks at it, it won't pick it up.
Yeah, but that was always the problem, wasn't it?
They've added new cameras as well for
they've had to
they have.
cameras.
But apparently the European, the Premier League is the only competition that uses semi-automated that has that 5mm tolerance. Everywhere else is back down to like toenail offsides and stuff like that.
Oh, right.
That's the only bit that worries me. But everything else, I think it's a good addition.
Yeah, but until we get a close one, like a really, really close one where he's like his armpits offside again, then I think it's not really going to cause an issue. Like the FA Cup seemed to go out without a hitch. Saturday and Sunday seemed to go off without a hitch, and even tonight, I just think at this present moment, for the form that we had, I don't think it really. Sorry, I don't think it really matters where the angles are, as long as the majority of them are spot on. Then I think everyone's going to be cool with it.
Yeah,
just not waiting for those lines is just going to be the best thing ever. You're gonna look. There's going to be one or two, probably not this season. By the time we get into next season, and it's like the new rules are coming, it's going to be a massive game where it makes an impact. But at the end of the day, this is one of them where it's not down to interpretation. It is what it is. Just technology's there. Take what you see.
Yeah. Good. We have some slight Brian in the chat's got mixed feelings about it. Would be nice if you can expand on that, Brian. We can have a little chat about what your mixed feelings are. But overall, I think it's going to speed the game up. We're not going to have people drawing lines that everybody then's going to turn around. Oh, the lines aren't straight and all stuff like that, which is just madness with all the technology we've got. So hopefully it brings up a speedier conclusion to a lot of the offsides we have getting. I'm not sure if it's still the case, but I did also hear that sort of like the ones from free kicks where there's 7, 8, 9 players in a line, they will still have to revert to the old way of doing it because it can't differentiate between whose foot and whose legs who when they're in a line like that.
That makes sense. To be fair, I'd say give it to the attackers.
Always.
Just always give it to the attackers because VAR was never brought in, as they say, to take away goals. It was meant to give goals. Yeah. But it seems to be it's taken away a lot more than it's given. But that's how close these decisions are, especially in the Premier League. And you just have to suck it up sometimes. And it's like we all said last week, it's not ruining the game. It's just enhancing what we already have in the experience. Like, who was the other game the other day? And I was thinking, this is some boring ass crap. This needs the VAR decision to make it interesting. But that we're getting a lot of games like that now, where if there's no VAR in it, the games are not even that interesting to watch because I think it goes back to the whole tactics conversation of where everyone wants to play this Pep style of football, and there's no difference to it. Nottingham Forest, Everton. Both want to play counter-attacking football. The game was crap.
Yeah, they're playing hot potato, innit? They're like, you have it. No, you have it. You have it.
And it took one mistake in the end, in the last minute, for anything to happen. The most 0-0 game you'll ever get.
Yeah. To be fair, we had Man United, Man City last weekend, and that was just as crap, to be honest.
Mate, and that's the issue that I find with a lot of people. Like, they want to talk about VAR's ruining the game. Just go watch Nottingham Forest Everton for 90 minutes and talk about ruining the game.
There's a lot of other things having the effect on the game. I don't think VAR is ever going to really be one of the massive ones to change your experience of football massively, to be honest.
But yeah, I don't know. I don't know really. But yeah, it is what it is. It definitely is what it is. But the Premier League's starting to shape up nicely now, though. Starting to shape up real nice. Top four yours?
I still say I'm going to stick by it. I've been saying it for months.
You said
We're going to finish third.
Oh, Jesus. Yeah, you
I've
could
been
do.
saying it for months. We're going to finish third. And everybody was looking at me crazy. I even said it last week, and everybody was like, so Forest are going to fall off. And I was like, they don't have to. They drew at the weekend. If we beat Crystal Palace on Wednesday, we go third. It's
Yes,
in
you
our
do.
hands from
Yeah,
there.
because you've lost the same amount of games as them. You've drawn one less at the moment, and you've won the same amount of games as them. So yeah,
And we had and Palace is a game in hand, so that we'll be level on games at that point, and we will be above them.
got to beat Palace first though.
Have to be Palace first. Yeah, we've got some very hard games coming up.
Forest are feeling the pressure now. That's the thing, and you can feel it in their games.
Yeah,
The
that's not
anxiety in the stands. They're feeling the pressure. Teams have kind of figured them out. That you speak about the game. I think Everton Forest kind of put things in jeopardy really because
so.
it's like Forest. Have you got a plan B? Because Everton, the onus isn't on Everton to come out and uh, try and be dominating possession. They know what Forest want to do. I think they played it smart, really, and allow Nottingham Forest to take they're the one that's got to set the agenda of the match. Whereas Everton can just sit back, they're away. Can they get on the counter and actually cause some damage? Which they could have done. To be honest, I thought that game was very much cat and mouse, much better than City United. I think you got to give it a little bit more credit than that. But where it was, what they want to do to each other, they
Yeah,
couldn't do.
because
And the
then
thing is, Everton probably looked more likely to score or to actually convert a chance, whereas Forest were really. I thought they were stifled by Everton. I thought it was a very good defensive performance from Everton in that
question on
respect.
that because you just said something. Do you think the reason why? Because it was a mistake and it was a terrible mistake to make. Do you think that the mistake crept in because of how nervous Forest are feeling right now about
Oh
and
yeah,
are feeling the pressure?
100%.
Yeah,
Because you got to think during the first half for most games, they've already caused some damage. So once they've caused that initial damage, they know if we get on the counter again, we can get out of the team. It doesn't matter which team it is in the league, we can get at them. But Everton were just not allowing them to get in behind, and that's what was really causing the anxiety. Gibbs White didn't have that same creative spark that he has when he gets in between the lines, or even that penetrating. Drive or acceleration that you have when he gets on a half turn and driving at defenses. And I think they probably might have made the mistake in not starting Alanga and bringing him on
they've
halfway
done that a
through.
few times recently, though.
But
Decided not to
maybe they're
start
just
him
trying to
until
save
Walker.
him. Maybe they're just trying to save him, keep that hunger, and then he's got more energy than the defenders that are already out there. He's more fresh. Maybe that's what Nuno's thinking. But someone like Alanga, I feel like you got to start him right now. He's a bit of the maverick. Well, not the maverick, but one of the
Yeah.
mavericks to starting lineups in the team.
Don't you think that's showing that Nuno's feeling a bit of pressure though, because he's overthinking things like that?
Something,
Like,
yeah.
if there's no injury and there's no reason for him not to start the game, start him. Don't worry about having to bring him on to make a difference late in the game. Go and win the game early. Like, why would you do that?
But this is the thing now. He wasn't expecting to be in this position, and having not being expected to be in this position, he's not prepared to deal with what's coming ahead of him. The running, he's not prepared to deal with this. Had
Their
he
running's not
been
easy, by the way.
Say that again? No, not by any stretch of the imagination. But being had they
The next
been
game is
a who they got Spurs.
3-point lane, yeah.
mate.
Hey, listen,
Do you know,
that is a banana skin for them right
yeah,
now.
but this
What's
yeah.
your fullbacks be in possession for
If
the
they
whole?
lose, if they lose that game, I completely agree with you. The pressure has got to them because there's
Yeah,
no way they should be. Look,
one new fullback.
Even Chelsea, who have been feeling the heat, even they came out and beat Spurs.
Hmm.
So
Yeah,
you're right. If they're feeling the pressure that much, and Spurs, will probably be out of Europe. got nothing to play for. We'll just be going through the motions. We'll probably be on a new manager bounce.
New manager bounce and all that, yeah. Ryan Mason, new manager bounce. It could all be going Tottenham's way come Saturday.
No, it's not Mason. I hope I made sure yesterday that they are calling Harry Redknapp right now just to come in. He's a granddad. Yeah, he's a great granddad now. Yeah, he's a great granddad now, isn't he?
Yeah, of
Jesus
course.
Christ.
Let's get him in. Get him in for 6 games. That team will turn, mate. They don't even need tactics now. They just need to be able to play football. But no. If they lose that on Monday, because that's if they lose that on Monday, then they are feeling the pressure. And at this present moment, seventh is not even guaranteed Europe at this present moment. Well, yes, it is. It's Conference League, isn't it?
Yeah, it's got to be guaranteed Europe because one of the place will fall down from the League Cup already.
Oh yeah, because you lot are in it. Yes, you lot have got to finish 4th.
Yeah, so that place will already roll down.
Yeah.
So
Chelsea, because Chelsea are in the Europa League spot at the moment. But yeah, it depends on UNC. Because I think that's how it turns out in it. But yeah, the lowest the Forest could probably finish is probably 8th at this present moment.
It'd be crazy if they finished 8th.
But they could, because Aston Villa are only 3 points behind them. Is it 3? Yeah, 3 points. Yeah, that is the cluster from 3rd to 7th is 3 points.
Aston Villa have snuck out of nowhere, man.
Yeah, they've had apart from one game where I think they fell off since January. For me, when they signed Asensio, Rashford, Diassi, and who else am I missing in January? There was one more.
It's on the right back as well.
Malin. Yeah, Malin. They literally said we got to make Champions League again, and they went out.
Well, they absolutely have to because financially they're screwed if they don't.
Yeah, but at least they went out and had the ambition. That's the risk they took, and they went. And at this present moment, the risk looks like it's paying off.
Yeah, it's a very educated gamble. It looks
a very educated gamble. But if they weren't to make Champions League, okay, they took the gamble. It didn't work, but they're still going to finish in a European place. However, I look at it and go, that is what ambition shows you. If you can go and take a risk sometimes, go and take it. And Newcastle have taken the risk. They've gone and signed players and kept players and kind of gone, you know what, we're going to show we are ambitious enough.
I actually don't think we've taken enough risk. Forest are the other team that took the risk, wasn't it? They bought all them players, took the hit, took the fire, and took the points, and thought, right, we've got the players now, let's go.
So then, if they did that, do you think Forest actually thought, do you know what, let's go for Champions League this season?
I don't know if they thought that. I don't know if they thought it'd be that beneficial.
Yeah,
but I reckon they thought this will make us a Premier League side going forward. We won't be worrying about relegation. We'll be in and around mid-table, and we can keep building and building and building and building off the back of it.
So do you think they was actually thinking of like Europa League or Europa Conference at all?
I think they would have had their half an eye on on that last European spot, 100%.
I think a lot of them teams, I think this is what it's become now, and this is what the Europa Conference League was always there to bring in. It wasn't there for the likes of Chelsea, Tottenham, the top 6, and everyone else. It was more for them, and it's that stepping stone to take into the. And Villa have proven that. Villa took that Conference League first, and then made that step up to Champions League and whatnot, and it just catapults them up. And I think a lot of teams now will be aiming for that spot as the threshold to go, that's like our maximum level. Anything higher than that's great, but that's where we should be aiming for every season. Not the Ipswiches and stuff, because they come up and everything like that, but for West Ham, Wolves, Everton, Palace, Brentford, Brighton, Fulham, Bournemouth, that's where they should be aiming for.
Tottenham, Man United.
Mate, they should be just aiming to be a Premier League club, man.
They just got to survive, man.
Survive. The fact that Ange said last season, I want to be in a title race, and all he's done is put Tottenham survival now on Arsenal, and the fact we're going to go to bloody Anfield, his team he supports as a boy and hand him the title, it's just you couldn't make it up.
Does that mean next Monday, when we start, Tottenham Forest is going to be playing, yeah?
Yeah. I won't be here.
Okay, cool.
Why is that? You going to the game?
No. I've got to do a big Spurs stream afterwards.
Therapy session, yeah.
Yeah. Well, because well, who knows? If you look at our fixtures that are running, we ain't getting a point. That is why we're thinking we're going to finish 17th.
Forest, Liverpool, West Ham, Palace, Villa, Brighton. Yeah, that's nasty work. That's nasty work.
Yeah. You know what's mad? You are actually going to get through Europa on Thursday. That's the worst thing about
We're
it.
not, man. We're not, mate. I tell you this now, Sink. Spurs are not getting through that tie. If we play anything like we have done in every single tie this season, we're not getting through that tie. Frankfurt are just gonna literally walk all over us if we're not careful. They're not going to, and Frankfurt are not going to play like they did at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. I think Frankfurt actually got it tactically wrong and it fell right into our hands. And they're lucky their goalkeeper had basically a worldie within that 10-minute spell. But they're not. Even Ange said after the game, he went that he was very surprised that Frankfurt defended how deep they did. But after they took the 1-0 lead within 5 minutes, they went, we'll hold on to this. That's exactly what they did. But yeah, it's a calculated risk, and they won. But
they're calling that striker Mini Isaac, isn't they? That Etekike or whatever his name is.
He's very good. Even though he didn't even play that well against us, the way he took that on the left wing,
the finish was elite.
Was very, very Henry-esque. Like
draw finish.
It was top draw, and if he was to come to the Premier League, say he, do you know what? It would be one of them. Him and Mamouche, you can see why they played so well together. And I think Manchester City should look down that route of actually bringing him in, because Mamouche, again, he's been excellent since he's come to City. Like, he's gone completely under the radar, even though he was a big signing. He's literally settled like a duck to water.
Yeah, 100%.
But all I'm hoping is that on Thursday that we've got to have one of our massive games, mate. And that's all I can hope for. Them players have got to turn up.
Or just be a bit lucky.
Yeah, it's going to be one of them. But the problem is, I don't want to get Bodo Glimt in the next round.
No.
Nah, you know what? I've watched them twice this season, funny enough. I've caught them twice. And they're actually better than people making out to be. And I wasn't surprised they beat Lazio. I was not surprised one bit. When they played Manchester United, they literally played them off the park. And it's Manchester United, so I had to take it with a pinch of salt. But I think it was a draw. I can't remember what the result was. And I just thought, if we come up against them in the semi-final, I don't know. I don't think we can cope.
I don't know anything about them.
Any team that's got a decent game plan and players that are in belief are always going to be.
They believe, man. Yeah, they believe. That's the weirdest thing. They have got the belief. I'm just trying to look at their result against Man United earlier in the season because they had them in the group stages.
I'm pretty sure Man United would have been. They didn't lose because I'm sure I heard United fans saying they were still unbeaten.
I think it might have been. Yeah, because they lost 3-2. So they beat Bodo Glimt 3-2. But it was, if I remember correctly, Bodo Glimt literally played so well. Yeah, they were. Garnacho scored in the first minute, and then Bodo Glimt went 2-1 up. And then Højlund, they let Højlund score, so that's a bit worrying.
Yeah. When Højlund scoring goals. Maybe there's hope for Solanke if you do get them in the next round. Højlund got 2. Jesus.
Yeah, he scored 2 within a 5-minute period, though.
Crazy.
But yeah, it's just madness. If he wins the Europa League, I don't think he will. Him and Almiron, Ange.
Oh, Ange.
Yeah.
Nah. You got the thing is to winning Europa League isn't easy. Teams that generally win the Europa League are good outfits, really good teams.
They tend to be Champions League worthy. They tend to next year they'll be in the Champions League.
The thing is, they must have, at some point, or generally a lot of the time, must have played in previous tournaments, the Champions League knocked out teams to get to certain finals.
Yeah, they would have done it well. Yeah, it depends, innit? Because a lot of them finish third, and you tend to find that people get to come down from the champ. Everyone used to always complain about that, okay? But when you look back at the history of the UEFA Cup or the Europa League, hardly any of the Champions League teams ever made the final. Hardly ever. I think the one time it did happen where both sides made it, and I might be wrong that this is the only time it happened, was when Galatasaray and Arsenal played each other. They were both knocked out of the Champions League that year and finished third. I think it's only last time 2 teams made it. But apart from that, it's usually one that's been in the whole tournament and one that's dropped out. Very rare that it's 2.
Fair enough. Didn't know that.
I could be wrong, But I'm pretty sure that is the statistic. I'm pretty sure Galatasaray were in the Champions League that year as well. But hey ho, Spurs are out of here,
Hey,
mate. 17th.
Never know. We could get to the final and have Europe's biggest bum fight, and you and Man United are in the final.
Mate, I tell you what, if Spurs and Manchester United both make the final, everyone in the Europa League should be embarrassed.
yeah.
Especially if you both get there without losing a game.
We've lost 2.
Oh, have you? Who
Yeah,
did you lose to?
We lost to Galatasaray.
Yeah.
And we lost to Alkmaar.
Okay.
Both away. The Galatasaray game, we went and played our youth team, which to this day I'll never understand. And then Alkmaar, we scored an own.
Is that when we've all injuries?
No, the injuries weren't even there yet.
Oh, right.
And he went to Galatasaray and went, here you go. Put you lot in the cauldron. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah. Throw the kids out in probably one of the
And then
most
had to bring
hostile
all the
environments possible.
Yeah. And then had to bring. Don't you remember Galatasaray had something like 30 odd shots? It was ridiculous, and they only beat us 3-2. Well, yeah, end of that. Anyway, let's end the show there. Where's Stocky gone, by the way?
Where he's just moved, his internet's wild at the minute.
Who's his internet provider? Let's name and shame them.
I think it's Virgin.
Name and shame.
Pretty sure it's Virgin, yeah. But he's in them. It happened last night as well. He was on for about 5 minutes and then it crashed out. So still a bit hit and miss.
Oh mate, he's got to be new build, yeah.
No, it's not. It's not at all.
Oh Jesus! Where's community Wi-Fi when you need it? Or EE?
Why you gotta have good neighbours, man.
Innit? Yeah, don't get Virgin unless you're in London, basically.
Let's see.
On that note, Sync, back next week, yeah?
Of course, mate. Back here Monday, bright and early.
Mitchie, what you got going on for the next week?
I'll just be back on this channel Wednesday. I'm going to jump on the Rivals again Wednesday.
Oh, you've been invited back. Nice.
Yeah.
Where's Toon? We've got too many tunes, bro.
Hey, we're taking over.
Jesus.
And then it'll be the usual place Sunday, where the Owls sleep. We're hoping Man United get knocked out of the Europa League on Thursday, so we can do a downfall of Man United show. So yeah,
mate, I think Deji wants to do the downfall of Manchester Piccadilly, mate. He might join you on that.
Okay.
Deji Spurs loves the downfall of Manchester.
The more the merrier on that one, because everybody hates Man United, so we can have a full on hate session for a little while.
Anyway, I'm back tomorrow. I've got Ricky Norwood on, as you guys might know as Fat Boy from EastEnders.
Mm-hmm.
He's on tomorrow.
Oh,
we were meant to have Darren on, but he's had to pull out due to work commitments. Which reminds me, I need to message him after this. And then JJ's on, and we're just trying. And then Ash is back tomorrow, so we'll be looking at basically Frankfurt, home and away, and then the Wolves disaster. The Wolves disaster. 4 mistakes, 4 errors leading to goals. Is it tactics or is it players? So I'm definitely
to be fair, so it's always a good little breakdown. So Tottenham fans log into that one.
Yeah, it's going to be
a couple of them shows.
It's going to be an interesting one. Did any of you catch last week? I said about 2 words. It was funny as hell. Funny as one of the I literally said 2 words the whole show. I was literally just laughing my head off because the guys we had on, it was.
So this week's even better than.
It won't be as good as last week. I think we had 3 comedians on last week. Literally, they just took over the show. It was quite funny. But yeah, back tomorrow, 9:45, 10 o'clock hopefully. But we'll be back tomorrow. But come on, you Spurs, mate. Come on, you Spurs.